car fans, welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Ral, and this week I'm going to do a resin showcase here of a kit I had recently picked up. I had recently got this Porsche 550 Spyder from USCP, which is Ukraine Scale Car Production, and they are in Ukraine, so it takes a little while to order it and ship it. This is their kit number, which is their third kit, and this is a full kit. You don't need a trans kit for this one. It comes with everything. But and it's a beautiful kit, even though it's really not a muscle car. But the Porsche 550 Spyder, it was like their first race car, and a car that I always thought was really cool. And I'm not really much of a Porsche fan myself. I got a few of the kits, 911s and stuff. But this one, the early Porsches, I just thought looked really cool. And this one, I just had to get it because what I saw online from some of the pictures, I'm like, I gotta get one of these. So I pre-ordered it, and I've had it for a little while now, but I decided I would show it to you guys and just share with you what I got, and if any of you guys are interested in this kit. But and then I bought this on my own. It's not a paid commercial or anything like that. I'm just showing you what I got and what to expect. And then I got the directions here, and then the body, which it's kind of interesting how it's done. Now, Porsche did make 90 of these cars, so there's 90 of them out there, and they're pretty rare, but they're not all exactly the same. So this kind of represents the last half of production, even though they were made in late 52 and all the way up until mid 56. But with only 90 of them made, the first 10 are all prototypes. They're really different. And if you want to see more of the history on these cars, go to the website type550.com. It's got registration and shows you the VIN numbers of all 90 cars and the known history of them and what they've been through. And the most famous one of them in there is James Dean's car, which unfortunately he passed away in. And I don't plan to make that car. I'm not really a big fan of James Dean or that particular story, but it is interesting that he owned that car for 9 days. And he was involved in 2 like minor accidents with it, supposedly, possibly 2, maybe 1. And then the last accident, which took his life, he was on his way to a race, and it wasn't his fault. Somebody had pulled out in front of him, didn't see him, and he tried to veer out of the way. But the car being a 1,300-pound car, and it's basically a tin can, it just crushed, and he died in it, unfortunately. But you can read about that. That's all over the internet, and all the history and rumors about that car and the curse that goes along with it, for a word there. But pretty cool. But you get this this body, and this is how they kind of ship it. They kind of piece it together, and you don't need any parts of this, but I'll show you all of this. But it's got all of the body here, which is kind of weird how they did it, but you can kind of see. Here's the dash, comes on out, but you'll have to glue it in place and glue it. But I can see that the way this is made, that they would have to cast it this way. So there's kind of some compromises, but once you glue it in place here into the chassis, you glue it in place, fill this all in, and blend the body, and you can paint it. Most of these were silver, but not all of them. Some are blue, some are red, yellow, and white. But you can go to the specific cars and see them on that website. The taillights, where the vents go, and you can kind of see the spare tire mount. Here's the chassis, just pops right out of there. And you can see the tubes and everything. It's curbside, there's no engine, but here's where the spare tire mounts. But through those grills you can see the spare tire, even on the rear car. It's mid-engine Porsche motor, but it's pretty cool. And I was pretty excited to get it, and this is kind of why I'm showing it to you guys. It's kind of weird how this is done, but you can fill these in too. Just fill in the lines, blend it all in. I don't see how you can blend all this in. They've got the jack mounts right here, which is what these are. But when it comes to the parts, you get this wonderful instruction booklet. I mean, this thing is nice. It shows you all the photo etch parts, all the parts, and explains the different colors here. Here's that website, type550.com. Gives you lots of reference information. The 5 different interior colors. Most of the cars painted in German racing silver, white, French blue, red, and yellow. It gives you some paint colors here. Pretty thorough instruction sheet. It really is. Almost, CAD drawn. It tells you how to assemble it and paint it, and all the photo etched parts. I mean, it's pretty thorough. I can kind of go through these fairly quickly here, but just showing you how to build it and what order to build it, which is really helpful and really cool. You see it right there. Just kind of going through it briefly here. Whoops. Show you that page too, interior. And the different options. They give you some options on how to build it. And then last page. But like I said, here's the photo etch. You get this sheet here, which has the Porsche letters, the Spyder, Porsche emblem, some of the miscellaneous trims and door latches and stuff. Here's the second sheet, which you got the windshield frames for both the racing and the street car, Porsche and USCP, and then those vents for the back there, the spokes for the steering wheel, just all kinds of stuff there. Got a string of seatbelt material, and then both clusters here, Euro spec and American spec. So they're both right there. And then you get 5 wheels, which these are really well done, and 4 caps to cover them. But as a race car, I'm going to leave the lug nuts exposed because these are pretty cool. And while more of the street version would be that way, it's kind of a shame to cover up the wheels and these lugs. See there, and you got one rear and one front, and they give you 2 of them, but the way they molded them, because at first I just saw these 2 and thought, I got 4 of the same, they should be different. Then I realized there's a rear, there's a front, and that's just the way they did it, which kind of, make one mold and cast 2 per kit. So you got those, and you got the 5 Dunlop Racing tires. So they actually say Dunlop Racing on them, but there's 5 tires. Pretty well clean, but a little bit of cleanup required on them, but pretty nice. This is what really got me right here. Here is the glass, the outer lens for the headlights. You got 3 versions here, and if I remember right, one's US, then there's early Euro and late Euro, all on this sheet, and it's pretty cleanly done. Really nice. And then here's the inner headlights, the actual headlights, and then the tail lights. And then the inner headlights, you got the one lens that goes deep in there, and then there's the outer lens that covers it up. So if you know your Volkswagen and Porsches, there's 2 lenses there. Then you got your fuel pumps, your fire extinguisher, and then I'm not really sure what that is, a grab handle or something. Then here you got your big outside rearview mirror. Then here's your license plate light that goes on the back. You got your steering wheel, some inner, I believe those are the inner door handles. You got your ratchet system here, and I believe an antenna, I'm not really sure what that is. Then you've got your gas cap, not quite sure what this part is either. And then your 4 jack points that go underneath on the chassis. So those are in there. Hope it's focusing. It's kind of hard when I'm going this close. These are all the rivets for the body for the tonneau cover for that piece all around there. And then you've got both of your vacuum formed windshield, the stock one or the racing one. I plan to do more of the street car, but with the hubcaps off. And here's your exhaust and your front spindles. And then 2 little parts here, which I'm not really sure. They explain what every part is in the instructions. So even though I don't know off the top of my head, here's that tonneau cover that covers the passenger seat so that you can have the racing version with just 1 seat. Here's the headlight buckets, the actual headlight buckets, where you put the lens and then the outer lens. You got a couple of racing seats here. So these are really cool. Like I said, the interiors are multiple colors, so you can have a different color interior even though you got silver exterior. Most of them are silver. Here's the shocks and the wheel mounts, the suspension. So it's built curbside, so you really, once you put all this together, here's your exhaust that goes underneath the car. Then you've got your inner door panels. And here's the front suspension, the knuckles, right there. And you glue them in place. Now the steering is actually posable, which I think I showed you the steering linkage here. And you got this rod and these other 2 rods. I'm not really sure what those are off the top of my head. But it comes with quite a bit of stuff. You can really put this thing together and looks like it's going to build a really nice model. And I haven't done any cleanup to this. This is how it was shipped to me, other than the bubble wrap and all packaged in that box. And it's pretty small, considering, you know, the car itself is tinier, and it's a 1/24 scale. But it looks to be a very interesting kit, and it's going to end up in my stash. I got a huge pile of resin stuff, but that's kind of why I do this. Just do a resin showcase, kind of show you what's out there, what was available or is available. But the availability of this stuff just comes and goes. Some of these guys, they make them for a long time, and others, they make such a small batch and then they're gone. But that'll pretty much do it for this one. And I don't know when I'll actually get to building this one. I look forward to doing it, and but it's like not one of my urgent ones that I want to do. But I decided to order it while I can, and watch, because I do that, they'll come out with this kit in styrene, and it'll become available much cheaper. But I know a few others have offered the $5.50 over the years. But I figured I'd jump on this one as it's complete and doesn't require a donor. Please comment and let me know what you think of your resin showcase and whatnot. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing, and you guys, you have a wonderful Saturday, and I'll see you next Saturday.